Welcome. So in this part of the lesson, we're going to go through another example here. So it says two hoses are used to fill a large pool. The first hose alone takes 100 hours to fill the pool, and the second hose alone takes 150 hours to fill the pool. How long would it take to fill the pool if both hoses were used? So we know that the first step that we're going to do here is find my lowest common multiple of the two numbers we were given. So that's 100 and 150. And hopefully you're able to look at these numbers and simply say, well, it's going to be 300. 100 and 150, the lowest common multiple is going to be 300. But if you were struggling with this, what you could do is you could just come over to the side here and you could just do a bit of working out. So I would write down 100, I would write down 150. I would notice that I have both of them have zeros on the end, so I would just take those off and just add a zero on at the end. Then I would do a bit of prime factorization here. And then I know what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all my different primes, times them together, and also when they are in common, take the highest power. So I have 2, I have 3, and the most amount of 5s I have, the most amount of 5s is just 1, because I have 1 here and 1 here, so I go like that. 2 times 3 is 6, 6 times 5 is 30. And then remember, I took a 0 off at the beginning, so I have to make sure I add that 0 back at the end. Just like that, I get 300. So a bit of prime factorization is really helpful if you're struggling to get that lowest common multiple. The next thing I'm going to do is say, all right, in 300 hours, hose 1 would fill how many pools? Hose 1 would fill how many pools? Well, if it can fill if it can fill 1 pool in 100 hours, that means in 300 hours it could fill 3 pools. So what I'm doing there is going 300 hours over 100 hours per pool. So that's 3 pools. And then I would say hose 2 would fill, well, this one was 150 hours to fill 1 pool, so in 300 hours it could fill 2 pools. So the calculation I'm doing there is 300 hours over 150 hours per pool. So that's going to be 2 pools. Now I can say the following. I know that if I'm using both hoses, I can fill 5 pools in 300 hours. So in 300 hours, if I use both hoses, I can fill 5 pools because 3 plus 2 is 5. So let's just write that down. So in total, if all hoses are used, I could fill 5 pools in 300 hours. Then I could say what my filling rate is based on that filling rate. What is my filling rate going to be? Well, my filling rate is going to be 300 hours, 5 pools, because in 300 hours I can fill 5 pools. Now I just want to find 1 pool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide both sides by 5. 300 divided by 5 will be 60 hours, and this one will be 1 pool. And that is my answer. So it takes 60 hours to fill 1 pool. And you could write this down as a sentence at the end. So you could say, using both hoses, it would take 60 hours to fill the pool. Using both hoses, it would take 60 hours to fill the pool. Let's just give that a highlight. Perfect. So there you go. So I did a bit of prime factorization to find my LCM, and then the process was the same as what I did above here as well. Hopefully you found this useful, and this is now the end of the lesson, so good luck in your exercise, and let me know if you have any questions.